For centuries, the violent swells of the North Atlantic Ocean acted as a wall. Crossing it required immense skill, vast resources, and a reason compelling enough to risk everything. In 1849, on a remote patch of Nova Scotia known as Oak Island, excavators pushed a drill deep into a flooded subterranean shaft called the Money Pit. When the auger was pulled back to the surface, it brought up a silver Portuguese coin. Based on its distinct stamping, it had been minted hundreds of years before the arrival of standard European settlement in North America. The presence of medieval European currency in a deep Canadian shaft contradicts the established timeline of the region. It suggests that what was once considered a localized mystery may actually be a centuries-old historical cold case. Numismatists have identified the exact origin of that silver. The letter L stamped above the central shield indicates it was minted in Lisbon during a narrow window between 1369 and 1371, under the reign of King Ferdinand I. Ferdinand spent those years engaged in the Ferdinand Wars, a series of expensive conflicts against the Kingdom of Castile. To fund his armies, the king ordered the production of thousands of these silver coins. Despite that massive initial production, we are faced with a significant statistical gap. Today, in all the world's museums and private collections, there are fewer than 100 of these specific coins known to exist. An entire royal treasury effectively vanished from the record. The discovery on Oak Island suggests that instead of being lost to time, these thousands of missing coins were relocated to the far edge of the known world. Determining how that silver moved requires looking at Ferdinand's closest allies. In 14th century Portugal, the king was a primary supporter of a powerful military and religious organization called the Order of Christ. The Order of Christ was a rebranded continuation of the Knights Templar, the crusading order that had been outlawed and persecuted across Europe just decades earlier. Moving a clandestine horde across the Atlantic was a severe logistical challenge. 14th century ships couldn't make the journey in a single run. They needed a secure, mid-ocean staging ground to resupply and regroup. Terceira, an isolated island in the Portuguese Azores, fits this requirement. With its sheer rocky cliffs, the island's geography provided a natural maritime fortress in the middle of the open ocean. The Order of Christ possessed both the motive to hide their outlawed wealth and the maritime capabilities required to move it far beyond the reach of European monarchs. On Terceira, historians have focused on the Church of Our Lady of the Conception, a 15th century site with direct ties to the Order of Christ. Carved into the church's stone is a three-pronged marking known as a goosepaw. This symbol was a signature of the Knights Templar. Between the 12th and 14th centuries, they used this marking to designate sites of high sacred or financial importance throughout Europe and the Middle East. Directly beside it is another carving, a cross with a uniquely elongated vertical stem, formed by the stem of the letter H. When compared side by side, the geometry is identical. On the left are the carvings from the Azorian church. On the right are markings etched into stone boulders found near Oak Island. Matching geometry appearing thousands of miles apart is not a coincidence. These markings point to a specific maritime route used by the Templar successors. Following that trail brings the investigation back to the flooded depths of the Money Pit. If a secure staging operation was built to move tremendous physical wealth, then the single coin from 1849 was likely a leaked artifact from a much larger unified cache. To test this, researchers analyzed deep subterranean water samples extracted directly from the flooded shaft. The analysis revealed a significant anomaly. Water samples showed a spike in dissolved silver far beyond natural levels. The sheer volume of metal required to generate these readings perfectly mirrors what's expected if thousands of missing Ferdinand coins were slowly oxidizing in the pit. Deep below the surface of the island, a vast concentration of silver sits in the dark, trapped in an engineered vault and guarded by hundreds of feet of bedrock and ocean floodwaters. History is not always contained within a textbook. The evidence suggests the ultimate secret of the Templar Empire is still waiting in the dark to be unearthed.